Hi, my fourth sem students. How are you? Hope you people are coping well during this lockdown period. Some of you have requested to repeat and revise E.V. Lucas' essay on finding things, especially Umesh, Yash, Shivam, Sudhanshu, Himanshi, and Faz and Palak, of course. They had earlier also sent me requests. So I'm making this video for all of you. Those who have requested me, sent me messages, and those who in the heart of their heart wish to that it should be revised. Fine. So this particular essay on finding things, in this essay Evie Lucas talks about the very mundane joy of finding things, that how finding things unexpectedly gives us pleasure. And he begins his essay with by describing three things he found. The first thing he found was a brooch in Royal Hospital Road, and the second thing was a carriage key he found in Church Street, Kensington, and the third thing was sixpence coin he found in a third class compartment. And many a times you will see in this essay he will be repeating penny and pence and sovereign, I mean the British coins. So when I went to London, and when I went to Charles Dickens' house, I bought one pretty thing which I wish to show you. These are two half pennies, and these I had bought from Dickens' house in Rochester. Fine, when I went there in 2003. So it is written over here, it was a myth, it was a belief among the beggars of London during Victorian period, that if you rub two half pennies, fine, these are two half pennies, and if you rub them they will bring more money. Fine, they will bring more money. So I wanted to show you these coins. Fine. So again, coming back to E.V. Lucas' essay and talking about what he says. He says that unexpectedly finding things is a very easy, a very pious, a very pure, a very sweet kind of joy which one has. So the title of the essay is On Finding Things. What sort of things? Unexpected little trifle petty things. And he begins the essay. After the passage of several years since I had picked up anything, last week I found successively a carriage key in Royal Hospital Road, a brooch in Church Street, Kensington, and sixpence in a third class compartment. It was as I stooped to pick up the sixpence, which had suddenly gleamed at me under the seat of the now empty carriage, that I said to myself, listen carefully, that I said to myself that finding things is one of the purest earthly joys. So he concludes the very first paragraph that finding things is one of the purest of earthly joys, कि ये जो तीन चीज़ें उन्हें मिली हैं उनसे उन्हें अच्छा लगा, मगर ऐसी कोई बहुत वैल्यूएबल चीज़ें नहीं थी, पर अनएक्सपेक्टेडली फाइंडिंग थिंग्स इज़ अ प्योरेस्ट जॉय। किसी चीज़ को ऐसे ही पा लेना, एक्चुअली ये बड़ा बचपना और बचकाना सा जॉय है जिसके बारे में ईवी ल्यूकस यहाँ पे डिस्कस कर रहे हैं। थोड़ा चाइल्ड लाइक इंस्टिंक्ट है, और एज यू नो दैट ईवी ल्यूकस वॉज अ वेरी popular essayist, he was a columnist, and above all he was a humorist. All his essays are full of humor, especially on finding things. He talks about mundane pleasure, that finding things, and in especially during childhood, in your early teenage, children used to love it. So he has talked about three things he had found at once upon a time, and then he goes forward, and how rare. And he says it's not always that you get something, it's a rarest of the rare joy that you get something. So it's a rare thing. I have in a lifetime that now and then apples me by its length found almost nothing. And he says, throughout my life, I had not found many things. Only the three things I have mentioned, I found them. These three things last week, and these three things means a carriage key, a brooch, and a pence coin he has found last week. When I was about seven, when he was just 7 years old, means just a kid he was, containing 8 pennies and one half penny. Then he got 8 penny and a half penny, which I have shown you, on the grass in the New Forest. And where he found it? He found it in New Forest. New Forest is a very beautiful place in London, which is full of beaches and gardens, and people usually go there for picnic, etc. When I was about 20, a $half piece. And when he was about 20, first he got it at when he was 7, and then second time he got it when he was 20 years old. What he got? He got a $half piece. $half ka ek coin he got it. And at Britain, where he got it? He got it in Britain. Not long after, a gold brooch. And after that half pound, what he got? He got a brooch of just sufficient value to make it decent to take it to the police station. And what he says that brooch was pretty costly. It seemed that it was a precious ornament which was dropped by some rich lady. So he thought it proper to take it to the police station, and he took it to the police station, and there he deposited it. From which a year later, no one having claimed it, it was returned to me. And he says that brooch stayed with the policemen for 1 year, and when nobody came to claim that brooch belongs to somebody, the policeman called him, and they again gave it back to him. It again returned to Mr. Lucas. And then he says, continues the essay. These constitute nearly half a century's haul. And he says half a century's haul means 50 years, half a century. During 50 years period, he could have only these 3-4 things. Haul means achievement. He got all these things in a 50 years time, lifespan. I might add now and then perhaps a safety pin, pencil, some other trifle, which no matter how well supplied with such articles one may be, cannot be required from nothing without a thrill. And he says, these are the things I have mentioned earlier, I found in 50 years span. But many times, quite often, when I was passing through, I saw a safety pin, a pencil, or all such trifles were on my way, and I found them all. But they were not worth anything. They were just trifles. Cannot be acquired from nothing without a thrill. But still, even if it was a safety pin, even if it was a pencil, when I got it, I was thrilled. I enjoyed that finding. I enjoyed that booty. Blue sky dividends. And what he calls it blue sky dividends, I mean the God gift. He says that on finding things unexpected is a God gift. Blue sky means given by the God, heaven से छप्पर फाड़ के मिला. ठीक है, तो he says कि it's a blue sky dividend. Dividend means for which you have not invested anything. You get interest out of interest. So that's what he says. Shall we call them? He says, can I call it dividend which was given by the God? Yes, he says yes. And then he quotes, gives another example. Even Mr. Rockefeller, I take it, would not have been unmoved had he, instead of myself, stumbled on that treasure between Stony Cross and Boldrewood. And what he says, कि Stony Cross and Boldrewood के बीच में, रास्ते में, when he was going from Stony Cross to Boldrewood, he says Stony Cross again is New Forest, is an area in New Forest, and Boldrewood is a place, university campus, where in earlier engineering colleges were happened, but now it's a marketplace and many things are there. So he says, when from Stony Cross I was going to Boulderwood, he says, I stumbled, I saw something. And he says, ki even if Mr. Rockefeller at that time when this particular essay was written was the richest man in England. So he said, जैसे आजकल कोई कहे कि बिल गेट्स या अडानी अंबानी भारत में उनको मिल जाए तो उनको भी मजा आएगा. So that's what he is saying. कि even Mr. Rockefeller would have enjoyed it, would have felt the thrill and the joy and the excitement if he would have got something unexpected. Then he says, to be given such things is not a comparable experience. Can I give to be given? If such things are given, if somebody gives you, gifts you, donates you, shares with you, it's not enjoyable at all. Because why it is not enjoyable? He gives the reason. He says, with a gift, intention, consciousness, preparation come in. He says ki if somebody has gifted it to you, then there are two things. First thing, consciousness, somebody would have thought what to give, how to give, and preparation, would have done some preparation that this I have to give to my such and such friend, and he needs a blue pen, he needs a bag. So something else is also involved in that. There's nothing unexpected in it. Some preparation is involved and some consciousness is involved. Intentions are involved. With what intention he is giving? With an intention was gaining your favor, with the intention of getting it back. That's what he is saying. To say nothing of obligation letter. But when you find something, you do not have to feel any sort of obligation. You are not obliged to anybody. It is a blue sky dividend, God gift. The event is also complicated and therefore shorn of its glory. And the event means the gift which somebody has given you is also complicated. It is complicated because of its preparedness, because of its intention, because of its consciousness. But when you get something, it's amazing, and the gift is shorn of its glory. Gift has some glory, but when you find something, it has no glory, it has no obligation by the second person, since the gift must be given and gift is to be returned. You have to give some return gift, or you have to take the obligation. But suddenly dropping one's eye to be aware of a coin, that is sheer rapture. But suddenly, if on the way you see a coin on the street, it's a rare rapture. He says it's an ecstasy, it's a joy, it's a pleasure to find it. Other things can be exciting too. He says finding other things like pens, pencils, pens is also exciting, but coin has a special effect. Why coin has a special effect? He explains that. But a coin is best because a coin is a rarely identifiable by the loser, because a coin is not identified by the loser. If somebody has lost it, the coin, there are many coins, so it doesn't belong, nobody can claim it that it is mine, because I too have the same sort of coin, you too have the same sort of coin, so nobody can claim it. So instead of getting other things, getting a coin is much better, happier, a rare. And then other thing, yeah. Moreover, I am naturally confining myself to those things, the ownership of which could not possibly be traced. He says, although I have such things and whose ownership is not traced, nobody can trace that it belongs to, but it is in no way comparable to the joy of finding a coin. To find things which have to be surrendered is as impure a joy as the word contains, and no theme for this pen. And he says, if you find something which you have to give back, which you have to surrender, like if you know that this particular thing, this particular wallet or this particular purse or this particular jewelry belongs to someone and you surrender it, then it is not a joy. It is only finding trivial things which you are not supposed to deposit is a joy. And top of everything he says, and no theme for this pen, no theme for this pen means no theme for this writing. I'm not interested in writing about that, because here what I want to discuss here, what is the theme of this particular essay is finding trivial things, finding small things, finding petty things which just give you the pleasure of an unexpected achievement. So, not for this theme for this pen means not for an issue, not for a topic in this particular essay. Pen means writing. The special quality of the act of finding something with its consequent exhilaration. Is it the special quality of finding things gives an exhilaration? Exhilaration means boost, zeal, hype, is half unexpectedness and half separateness, and the hype comes because of two things. The first thing is that half unexpectedness, it comes because of two things, means half means you are not expecting that, you get it all of a sudden. And the second half, separateness means you are not associated with this, neither the loser is associated with that, he has lost it and he doesn't or she doesn't know where it has gone, and neither the one who has got it has any obligation. So because of two things, first unexpectedness and second separateness, it is an enjoyable incident, it is an enjoyable thing to find things. There being no warning and the article coming to you by chance, no one is to be thanked, no one to be owed anything. And he says, since it has come out of blue, since it has come unexpected, since there is a separateness, since there is an unexpectedness, you do not feel any sort of obligation. You need not to thank somebody, and not only to thank somebody, no one to be owed anything, and you do not owe anything to anybody. आपको किसी और को देना नहीं है, return नहीं करना. So on finding things is a special sort of joy. In short, and then he concludes, he says, in short, you have achieved the greatest human triumph. You see the humor. ट्रिफल को कितना ग्रेट बना दिया, एंड इसी ऐसा लगता है जैसे आपने ग्रेटेस्ट ह्यूमन ट्रायम्फ, जैसे कहीं राजगद्दी जीत ली हो छोटी चीज़ में. यू हैव गॉट समथिंग फॉर नथिंग, you have not invested anything and you have got something, so something for nothing. That's why on finding thing is a joy. That is the true idea. यही सबसे बढ़िया आइडिया, ट्रू आइडिया. द नथिंग मस्ट बी एब्सोल्यूट, एंड दिस नथिंग मीन्स नो ऑब्लिगेशन, नथिंग मीन्स सेपरेटनेस, नथिंग मीन्स unpreparedness. So nothing must be absolute. ये nothing absolute है, उसमें perfect है. One must never have looked, never have had any finding intention or even hope. Neither somebody was looking for having something, finding something, nor there was any hope, expectedness for that. Still one has got something, so it is a joy. To look for things is to change the whole story, the whole theory. But if you are looking for something, the entire pleasure goes. It has a different connotation, it has a different meaning. So don't look for that, it should come of its own. And then he gives a very derogatory example. What he says, that the whole story change or the whole theory changes if you look for it. It is like to rob it of its divine suddenness. If you are looking for something, then you rob it off. What you rob it off? On finding things. चीज़ों को पाने का जो आनंद है, उसको आप हटाए ले रहे हैं, उसको आप लूटे ले रहे हैं, उसको आप नकारे दे रहे हैं, और द डिवाइन सर्टेननेस दैट गॉड गिफ्ट है, उसको हटाए दे रहे हैं इफ़ यू आर लुकिंग फॉर सर्टेन थिंग्स. एंड द सेकेंड एग्जाम्पल इज टू बिकम एंक्शियस. इट मेक्स you anxious, curious, even avaricious, and even greedy also. If you look here and there, let me have something, somebody would have dropped something and I will get something. So it is like, it shows your greed, you are avaricious. To partake of the nature of the rag picker, and it is like you are a rag picker and you are कूड़ा बिनने वाला, and you are looking for something. The chiffonier, again the rag picker. You are a rag picker, you are looking for here and there under the garbage dump that you will find something. Or those strange men that one notices walking. Strange men, here he says to the rag pickers, that they are walking here and there in the London street and looking for something. with bent heads. Bent heads means very very down to, not down to earth, very needy, very poor people, so you would not like to equate yourself with them, along the shore after a storm. And these people are walking along the shore when the storm comes, and when it recedes, it brings with us so many things: shells, often pearls, etc., etc., or some dropouts. So he says it is like that if you look for that. Nonetheless, that was a great moment once in the island of coal. Although he says that it's like rag picker, but again mentions that this sort of incident has happened to him once when he was in island of coal. Island of coal is again in London, and it's a beach. And when after 2 hours systematic searching, I found the plover's nest. And he says there in the island of coal, when the storm receded, what I found a plover's nest, and it's a bird's nest, and there were eggs, and those eggs are deemed as delicacies and served during the meals. It is a delicacy like any other bird. Those who relish non-veg, they might be knowing. Then another example he gives about the plover's nest. Finding things is at once so rare and pure a joy that to trifle with it is peculiarly heartless. And he says, repeating the same idea again. He says, finding things is such a rare joy that if somebody kills it, it's very heartless. Means you should not discourage people for that. इसको discourage नहीं करना है. You should enjoy it. Yet are there people so wantonly in need of a sport as to do so. And he is criticizing that if somebody is intentionally looking for such things, it is a greed, and not only greed, it is lust also. It is more debased than greed. It's a lust. It's wantonly you are in need of something. Everyone knows that the purse laid on the path or pavement besides a fence, which as the excited passerby stoops to pick it up, is twitched through the palings by its adherent string. He's giving an example which we would have also noticed during Holi. At least I have noticed in my childhood during Holi days, people used to collect chanda and all that, then used to put a string in the coin and throw it on the middle of the road and sit somewhere, and when somebody stoops down to pick it up, they pull the string, and the man or whosoever is stooping down to take it feels very awkward. So he says this sport, I mean, not only in India, not only in our suburban areas, in our cities, even in England, which is a rich country, people used to use such tricks of putting coins in a string and enjoying that. But he says it's a very cheap, it's a very childish, it's a very impish kind of enjoyment which people used to do. Then again he says there is also the shilling attached to a thread which can be dropped in the street and instantly pulled up again, setting every eye at a pavement scrutiny. And when such things are done, everybody can, because many people are passing through the road, and they will scrutiny it, they will notice it, so people will feel awkward. Could there be lower tricks? क्या इससे भी कोई हल्की trick हो सकती है? No, he says no. This is very impish. This is very full of mischievousness. I fear so, because some करें हाँ हो सकती है. And he gives another example. He says because some years ago, in the great days of rendezvous of bohemians in the Strand known as the Marble Hall, a wicked wag, I have been told, once nailed a bad but plausible sovereign to the floor and waited events, giving the example of a wicked wag. Wicked wag means very bad boy. Wag rich, neo-rich, because the sovereign is a precious coin, and he used that precious coin like guinea in the gold coin, but that was he used to put that, and he is giving the example in a rendezvous, in a festival, where some bohemians were celebrating, some new artists were celebrating on the streets, a wicked, where in the marble hall, where the four roads used to meet in a strand. So he says, in the marble hall, one wicked wag, one bad boy, very notorious, naughty, mischievous boy, used to put a sovereign, and he nailed that, once nailed it on the street, a bad but plausible. It was not khota sikka, it was a bad coin but plausible. It was looking like the real one. It was quite reasonably giving an impression of the real one. So he put that, and he kept he hid himself behind something and was looking for the enjoyment, or that when people will stoop down to or kneel down to pick it up, they will laugh, they will make fun of it. Wait. In the case of the purse and string, the butts are few and far between, and there is usually only a small audience to rejoice in this discomfiture. But the denouement of the cruel comedy in the marble halls, of which acquisitiveness and cunning were the warp and woof, was only too bitterly public. And he says that when somebody puts the purse in that string, that there are only a few people, a very small number of audience. But if you do it on the stand in Marble Hall, there are many people. It's the busiest road in London, so there are many people, and the person who stoops to pick it becomes a commodity of fun. It feels very awkward. So this is denouement. Denouement means the final climax. When he stoops, people come out and they laugh at him, and this is very mischievous. This is very idiotic, according to Mr. E.V. Lucas, that this is very idiotic. One should not indulge in such sort of mischievousness. But he is mentioning that. He says that this is the part of the warp and woof of cunningness. This is the very fabric of their cunningness. What that rich boy, naughty boy, would have done over there. And then he says, I am told such a human resourcefulness is guile. And he says, I am told means I believe that this sort of human resourcefulness means making fun of others is very cunning, very bad. It's not fair. That every few of those who saw the coin and marked it down as their own went for it right away, because had they done so, the action might have been noticed and the booty claimed. He says that when somebody notices such sort of coin, they used to play a lot of tricks, because if they straightforward go kneel down and pick the coin, others may claim, no, this is mine. So they play a lot of tricks, and one of the trick he is mentioning here, how people used to do that. Instead, the discover would look swiftly and stealthily around. What he says, कि जो discoverer है, one who has noticed this, वो इधर उधर देखेगा, कैसे stealthily, छुप छुप के देखेगा, कोई मुझे देख तो नहीं रहा है, and swiftly, तेजी के साथ देखेगा, जल्दी जल्दी इधर उधर, कोई देख तो नहीं रहा, अगर कोई नहीं देख रहा है तो फिर कुछ ट्रिक करते हैं, and then gradually, और फिर धीरे से क्या करेगा, and with every affectation of non-challenge, affectation, show off, drama, theatrical activities करेगा, और क्या करेगा, ऑफ नॉन चैलेंज, एज इफ आई एम नॉट इंटरेस्टेड, हमें क्या मतलब, और इधर उधर देखा, हम तो चले जा रहे हैं, हमसे कोई मतलब नहीं है. विच टू दोज इन द सीक्रेट, और जो चुपचाप छुपे वो समझ रहे हैं कि बेटा तुम दिखावा कर रहे हो कि यू आर नॉट नोटिसिंग इट, बट यू हैव नोटिस्ड इट. वॉचिंग फ्रॉम द कॉर्नर्स ऑफ देयर विकेड आइज, छुप छुप के अपनी शैतानी भरी मिस्टीरियस आइज से उसको नोटिस कर रहे हैं. वॉज सो फनी एज टू बी एन एग्नी, और उनके लिए वो बड़ा फन है, जबकि जो उठा रहा है, फॉर होम इट इज़ फाइंडिंग समथिंग, उसके लिए would become an agony, it would become an anguish, it would become a very painful. He would get nearer and nearer until he was able at last to place one foot on it. और वो बंदा क्या करेगा? What he would do, he'll come nearer and nearer, and then what he would do, he would put one of his foot on that coin. So अपना एक पैर उस कॉइन के ऊपर रख देता है, एंड तब भी उठाता नहीं, फिर एक और ट्रिक करता है. क्या करता है? दिस अकॉम्प्लिश्ड, और जब ये काम पूरा हो जाता है, ही वुड रिलैक्स, वो एक ठंडी सांस लेगा, डीप ब्रेथ लेगा, इनटू समथिंग लाइक रियल नेचुरलनेस, और ऐसा शो करने की कोशिश कि नेचुरली उसका पैर उसमें पड़ गया था. एंड प्रैक्टिकली सर्टेन ऑफ हिज प्रे, जबकि द ट्रूथ इज़ दैट कि वो अपना जो शिकार है, वो जो सिक्का है, वो पाने की खुशी है उसके अंदर. टेक थिंग्स इजली फॉर अ मोमेंट और सो, और 1-2 मिनट के लिए वो इस चीज़ को ईजीली लेगा, इधर उधर देखेगा. ऑफन आई एम टोल्ड, और ल्यूकस इज सेइंग कि अक्सर मुझे ये बात बताई गई है, द पुअर ड्यूप, और वो बेचारा जो मूर्ख बन रहा है, जिसके ऊपर ये ट्रिक की जा रही है, वुड एट दिस पॉइंट, इस जगह आकर, विसल द लेटेस्ट ट्यून, थोड़ा और केयरलेस दिखाने के लिए जो लेटेस्ट ट्यून होगी, जो आजकल बढ़िया गाना चल रहा है, उसको बजाने की कोशिश करेगा. इवन नाउ हाउएवर ही डेयर्ड नॉट अबंडन सटरफ्यूज, और अभी भी वो उसको जाने नहीं देना चाहता उस जो, और पूरी सारी जितनी डिसेप्टिव टैक्टिक्स होंगी, जितने भी चालें होंगी, वो चलेगा. किसके लिए? फॉर दिस प्राइज, उस सॉवरन के लिए, उस कॉइन के लिए जो वहाँ पे गड़ा हुआ है, नेल कर दिया गया है. were he seen to pick it up might have to be surrendered or shared, और छुप छुप के इसलिए करा है कि अगर कोई देख लेगा तो उसको देना पड़ेगा या शेयर करना पड़ेगा. सो द नेक्स्ट मूव वॉज टू ड्रॉप हिज हैंकरचीफ, तो अगला क्या उसका कदम होगा? वो अपना रुमाल गिराए. पहले तो पैर रख दिया, अब रुमाल गिराएगा. द आइडिया बीइंग टू पिक अप बोथ इट एंड द सॉवरन टुगेदर, उसके पीछे आइडिया क्या है कि वो अपना रुमाल उठाने के लिए झुकेगा और रुमाल और सॉवरन दोनों को उठा लेगा. ऐसा वो सोच के करता है. बट पुअर chap doesn't know that those impish people have nailed it, उसको गाड़ रखा उन्होंने. Such explosions of laughter as followed upon his failure to do so can, I am informed, rarely have been heard. और फिर जब वो उठाने की कोशिश करेगा तो वो तो गड़ा है तो निकाल नहीं पाएगा. And the boisterous laughter, the हंसी जो फूट पड़ेगी उन बदमाशों की जिन्होंने ये सब काम किया है, उसको देख के फिर वो बड़ा awkward फील करेगा, शर्माएगा. Such was the conspiracy of the nailed sovereign, और क्या कह रहे हैं ल्यूकस कि nailed sovereign की इतनी बड़ी पूरी कॉन्स्पिरेसी, इतनी बड़ी स्ट्रैटेजी, प्लानिंग उन शैतान बच्चों ने की है. which now and then the victim shaking the chagrin from his would without shame himself join and become a delighted spectator of his successor's humiliation. और क्या कह रहा है कि जब इस तरह से वो बंदा जो फंस जाएगा, shaking his chagrin, अपनी जो उसकी ये disappointment है, जो annoyance है, जो शर्म है, chagrin, उसको वो किनारे कर देगा, शेक कर देगा क्योंकि उठा नहीं पाया, और उन लोगों के साथ शामिल हो जाएगा. वहीं खड़ा होकर वो भी छुप के उसको देखने लगेगा कि अगला कौन आता है और इस तरह का करता है. एंड ही बिकम द पार्ट ऑफ द मिस्चीवियस ट्रिक, उस मिस्चीव का वो भी एक हिस्सा बन जाएगा. ऐसा कोई किस्सा इनको पता चला, मिस्टर इविल्यूकस को किसी ने बताया. एंड बिकम डिलाइटेड, और वो भी खूब खुश होके उसका स्पेक्टेटर, दर्शक, ऑडियंस बन जाएगा. किसका? ऑफ हिज सक्सेसर्स, जो उसके बाद आने वाला बंदा है, जिसका ह्यूमिलिएशन अब अगले बार होने वाला है, जो दोबारा वही सारी ट्रिक या उससे मिलती जुलती ट्रिक अपनाएगा. Can you conceive of a more impish hoax? And Lucas is asking, क्या आप इमेजिन कर सकते हैं, कंसीव कर सकते हैं, प्लान कर सकते हैं इससे ज़्यादा शैतानी भरी कोई होक्स, इससे ज़्यादा शैतानी भरी कोई ट्रिक मतलब नहीं कर सकते. बट आई शुड लाइक टू हैव विटनेसेस. और फिर कंक्लूड करते हैं, बट आई हैव विटनेस्ड इट, कि हमने इस तरह की एक बार इम्पिश मिस्चीवियसनेस, ऐसी शरारत का हमने देखा है. तो जो चीज़ शुरू होती है, द essay which is started in a light tone, which is started in a humorous tone, that how good it is to have something, to find something. And he mentioned three things. He mentioned a carriage key, he mentioned a brooch, and then he mentioned a sixpence coin. And that ends with the mischievous trick children used to play with strangers and enjoy such things. And it ends in a very sad note, that one should not make fun of others like this. Okay, thank you.